ladies and gentlemen. I've been hugging Rotus and glad Rotus is back. Yes, Rotus, take it away.
Good morning, Rufai. Good morning. Good to see you. Good morning, Ayo.
Can I give you both a Monica? Tom and Jerry.
That's what it is.
The thing about Tom and Jerry, inside they love each other. But they're always fighting, but inside they really do love each other.
We don't fight.
No, yeah, not really. We just on premises. It's when it comes to Nigerian policies.
Yeah, we just have different ideas.
Yes, indeed.
Well, welcome back, Rotus.
Hey, thank you. Good morning to you all. Good morning to all our viewers. Going to begin in the what to watch this week. A lot going on, particularly with earnings. So you've got Transcorp Hotels releasing their earnings Monday afternoon. That was yesterday afternoon after the market closed. We're going to get into that. The double-digit growth there for the company. But Tuesday, that's today, we're going to get earnings from Coca-Cola, General Motors, and Netflix. Very interesting. Coca-Cola is a 139-year-old company. General Motors, I think, is about 114 years. Their combined market cap is about 320 billion. Netflix, which is only about 28 years old, has a market cap of about 520-something billion. So young company here, eclipsing both of these two. IBM, same issue. I think it's about, how old is IBM? About 114 years old. Tesla is only about 22 years old, and Tesla's market cap of 1.5 trillion is higher than IBM, Coca-Cola, GM, and Netflix all put together. But Wednesday, we're going to get earnings from IBM and Tesla. Thursday, we're going to get earnings from Intel and Ford. And then Friday, the delayed CPI numbers for the U.S. On Friday. So we'll see how inflation is. We hear the U.S. wants to start importing beef from Argentina because beef prices are rising. So that's an inflation story there within itself. Asian markets, the story, of course, the new prime minister has been appointed. Takachi, first female prime minister in Japan. India is closed because of the, if you have any Indian neighbors, they were just blowing fireworks. Yeah, Diwali, and playing music all throughout yesterday. So India's market is closed. But the story for the Asian markets is the Kospi over in Korea. That's been on a 6-7 day bull run now, and it's been powered by Samsung and SK Hynix. We talked about that deal between OpenAI and Advanced Micro Devices Samsung and SK Hynix to build data centers. It's I think the best performing index so far in the world this year. 61% gain. About 66% of this has been driven by Samsung and SK Hynix. It's again the AI story over in South Korea. So markets there continue to do pretty well. The story, of course, rare earth. We've talked about how China has been squeezing the U.S. There was a clip we had, maybe we'll play it tomorrow, on how Trump is making some demands ahead of his meeting with Xi Jinping next week. Also, Scott Bessent will be meeting with his own Chinese counterpart later this week. We talked about how China has been limiting export licenses for rare earth minerals because China controls 70% of the processing of this particular mineral. And it has jets, phones, cameras, the one that we're using right now for our show. These rare earth minerals are very critical for them. Also fighter jets and so on. And so what we've had is rare earth stocks catching fire. These are two particular stocks here in Australia. VHN Limited up by 20. This is in Australian dollars. 20.65% this morning in trading. Latrobe Magnesium 15%. And in the United States yesterday, Cleveland Cliffs, they said that they're going to be exploring rare earth minerals in one of their iron ore mines. So that's a U.S. stock. These are Australian stocks, and these have been catching fire because the U.S. has signed a deal with Australia for about 8.5 billion. It's a critical minerals deal. Australia is one of the countries that has rare earth minerals, including Argentina, including China. It's just that China again has the control of the refining of them. So Anthony Albanese met with U.S. President Trump yesterday. This is the initial investment is $1 billion, but it's supposed to climb to about 8.5. And what the U.S. is going to do is to try to get access to these rare earth minerals and decouple from China so they are not as dependent. But this is going to take some time, right? So that of course, is the deal that they've signed with Australia. You've seen rare earth stocks just catching fire. And with respect to Apple hit a new record yesterday. It's been lagging the other Magnificent Seven stocks, your Teslas, your Microsofts and the like. But the shares did jump yesterday on a new report from Counterpoint Research saying that Apple, in the first 10 days of availability, the iPhone 17 has outpaced sales of the iPhone 16 by about 14%. Now, I even tried to get my hands on an iPhone. We went to a store in Washington, D.C. They were all sold out. And I think it's because most people, weren't really impressed with the 16 and decided to skip it, and a lot of that demand has been pushed forward to the 17. Also, we've had some asset managers upgrade Apple stock on more iPhone 17 Optimism. So that, of course, pushed the stock. And also, stocks like its suppliers in China, like Honhai, aka Foxconn, they've been climbing as well. So Apple shares there climbing. We'll see if that is maintained. And it pushed up the Nasdaq as well, which is a tech-heavy index. Meanwhile, in Nigeria, I talked about Transcorp Hotels releasing their earnings. We'll get more into this in more detail on the global business report, but their revenues were up about 49%, 72 billion. Your gross profit margin is a profitability metric that measures how well you're able to manage your costs. So revenue minus your cost of goods sold, gross profit divided by revenues, and that's a 76% margin there, which was 71% in the third quarter. Profit before tax climbing by 36%. And I really like the hospitality sector in terms of how, for the young kids out there wanting to get into business, in terms of how companies make money. Remember, the Afri-Exim Bank had its annual meetings in Abuja at the new Transcorp Center, which sits about 5,000 people. Arise News was there. That is a revenue metric or a revenue stream for the hotel, to where you can lease out your event center. Companies will pay you to use it, and you get revenues from there, aside from your bread and butter bookings of hotel rooms. Also, Transcorp's gym allows people who are not guests to use it. I use it often, and you pay a fee. While I was in DC, I tried to use a particular hotel gym. They told me only the guests could use it. I went to another one, and they allowed for outside folks to come in. So these are the type of revenue metrics that you use: the restaurants, the shopping, and so on and so forth. So pretty healthy earnings there for Transcorp. That is our updates for today.
All right, quick comment. I'm just so happy to see you, Rotus. I leave my 30 seconds to anybody. What I want to do with that is just to hug you even more and say welcome back. I donate my 30 seconds. I donate my 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So
Two
much
things,
love.
one comment and a question. Yeah. The first one is around Transcorp, which you talked about, just to break down their earnings. And I thought it was important for the hospitality industry. Number one, rooms, highest earners for them. Yep. Number two, food and beverages. So beverage, actually. Number three, rentals, like you talked about. So they have a number of companies, I think on their first floor in particular, where even one of their tenants. Number four, then I think they talked about the renting of, their hall. They just developed their new hall event to match an event center. I recall that's where Afri-Exim Bank had their conference there. So doing quite well, good numbers for Q3, and hopefully Q4 would even be better with Dirty December.
There you go.
But finally, the question is around this, because you always talk about tech AI.
Yes.
This thing that happened with Amazon, we did not, outage, CrowdStrike, we're only just recovering. Some people have not yet recovered from CrowdStrike last year. Delta is saying they're still trying to recover $500 million in losses, following CrowdStrike. Would this not reduce confidence or, the IT industry in terms of what are the challenges that it faces?
It's a great question. It does bring up safety for the AI, these data centers, because of how many costs. I think even AP had an outage. They were sending out emails in terms of their coverage. So yeah, it's a risk, but Ayo, with the amount of money that is being pumped into capital expenditure for artificial intelligence, they've seen it as a blip. Amazon came out yesterday and said, listen, it's been resolved. It won't happen again. We hope it won't. But the risk has not been able to outweigh.
They didn't touch anybody's money in their account.
They did not touch anybody's money in their account.
Just to let people know that still sign checks.
Right.
Your money is safe in banks despite.
Are you throwing the shade at Dr. Abati?
No, she's not around. No way.
Very quickly to Sanai Takaichi, who can be seen as a Margaret Thatcher kind of figure, strong woman, very boldly conservative as well in her leanings, and coming at a time where we know that the anti-immigration sentiment in Japan is at an all-time high, and her supporters are looking forward to her, making some sort of a move, a significant move to be able to counter that. I saw reports of people already setting the Minister of Justice at the front burner of the agenda for her, because they feel that the Ministry of Justice is at the forefront of somewhat giving foreigners preferential treatment in Japan. So it'll be interesting to see how her tenure spans out. Hopefully it'll be longer than that of Prime Minister Ishiba. But important to note is that she condemned the Prime Minister in the 1990s for apologizing for World War II. So she's a tough woman.
She is.
Now, very quickly, when China sneezes, the world catches a cold. difficult. So I expected nothing less than Donald Trump to quickly segue around the rare earth minerals, and especially given, I'm sure you were away when that report came out from The Economist saying that for the first time China's balance of payments, their currency of trade, over 50% now is in yuan. It's in RMB. So they are de-dollarizing at a very fast pace, and I think it's important for Donald Trump to move around that, because if China de-dollarizes, that will make a significant dent to the global value of the dollar.
Even Ethiopia has a deal with China. They're trying to convert their dollar loans with China to yuan now. So yeah, they're really moving forward with that.